Okay, I moved on to the hood. What do I do with this? Clean it up as best I can, I guess, because look at this. What do I do in here? I can clean that up pretty good, but I can't make it perfect. And underneath this, you know, if there's any rust down in there, I can't do anything about it in there. Can't do anything behind this heat shield. These guys right here, I can't tear all that stuff apart. I guess I could. I could pull these apart, but you know what? I'm just gonna clean them up and spray paint. Mainly underneath the hood, I just want to protect it. So I'm gonna make sure I get a good heavy dose of paint and primer underneath here. And it don't gotta look fancy or nothing. So I'm just about done with the underside. I moved on down to this thing here. It's a little stiffer and it's a little smaller. And it's on a drill. It's good to get, if you're going to use the impactor to do this, you need to find the wire wheels that have the notch in the end instead of the smooth, because that's what locks into these guys right here. Boy, I really frayed up that brush already. Well, they don't last forever. They're only a couple bucks. So anyway, so I'm going to hit it with this now. I already did some, and it's cleaning it up pretty good. I also set the clutch way down low. I set the clutch down low so if it does grab into something, it just stops. Tell you what, the paint under this hood's thin. This wire wheel's taking it right off. I think I'm about done on the bottom side of this. I'm going to start on the top side. Now for that, I'll use mostly the sander. I also got to figure out how I'm going to clean this guy up. These are usually missing on any M I've ever seen. It goes into the front of the grill, and they're usually gone. It's just held in by this piece of strap that clamps it in place. It's even got the nice mesh on it and everything, which is shocking. Just not sure how I'm going to clean it. Maybe I could just use this guy and wire it up like that. Gently. I guess I'd take the mesh off because I don't want to paint it. The only thing about taking the mesh off, it's got these little tiny clips that hold it on. And when I bend them, they tend to want to break. That's when they break off. So I got to be careful. Ooh, there's not a whole lot of grip left on that paper, but I'll give it a little bit of a whirl here. Up on the edge, it ought to still work. Almost forgot my mask again. Well, I got my mask back, so now I got to breathe through my glasses, it seems. I wish I could find a mask that didn't make my glasses fog up. Definitely time to change the sandpaper now. Funny, on dull paint, you don't usually see, a lot of times you don't see the imperfections. Right now I'm seeing there was runs in the old paint. And this paint's pretty thin. I think this is original. I don't know. If somebody could tell me that they've ever seen original paint that had defects like this, like that right there, those sags. Any defects like this in original paint, I'd love to hear about it. If you could put it in the comments, that'd be awesome. All right, back to sanding.
Toyota LTM works on all makes and models and offers free estimates daily.
Sometimes you gotta do a little handwork too. The sandpaper, folded it, stuck it back to itself. I'm just gonna clean up these edges a little bit. Like these creases, I couldn't get in there with the sander. But a couple swipes with this ought to do it. Then I'm gonna hit this again with some 220 grit. And then after that, we're gonna do some primer. I might even stand right up over the edge here. So I'm getting more rusty junk off. Gotta get right in that crease. Get that cleaned right out. This crease too. This is a neat looking hood. Hard to get in some of these spots, these nooks and crannies. They're tough. That's dialing it up better. All right, now to hit it with some 220 grit. Well, I got these parts cleaned up, sanded up, down to 220. I just wiped it all down with lacquer thinner. Okay guys, I got this thing primed up, and one of the good things about priming is you get to do like a dry run. Now, primer is going to show that dent right there, and I guess I could spend a bunch of time and putty it up, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna. I really don't think I'm gonna. I'm gonna see how bad it looks. If it looks terrible, I'll reshoot the whole thing. But I really don't want to sink all that much crazy time into this old tractor. Like I said in another video, I gave 1,600 bucks for it at a sale. I think I overpaid because most of these M's don't go for that. Of course, I did see another M go. It wasn't a Super M either, but it was a running tractor. Went for 1,400 at the last sale I went to. So maybe people are getting more interested in them again. So anyway, I'm just giving this a quick sand off. You can see where I sanded it, and you can see like right here, see a little bumpy yet, so I'll probably sand that a little more. Because let's face it, it's an old farm tractor. Like Connor's saying, he wants it to be a good serviceable tractor. We're not going to make a show tractor out of it. So I got a bunch of this primed. I'm not worried about the bolster too much. We'll shoot it red, and I'm sure the paint will stick. We've wiped the whole thing down with wax and grease remover. We really cleaned it up as best we could. This we cleaned it up pretty good, but it is not perfect either. If you see right up close, you can see rust pits. But I don't think I care that much about it. I mean, I care about the tractor. It's an awesome running tractor. But if it's not a perfect paint job, I'm not that worried about it. We'll be using it in the woods and doing all kinds of stuff with it. One thing I did find out when priming, it blows this back. So I got to wrap tape around it like I did here and tighten that all up. When you start sanding, it actually highlights defects. So I start sanding this like right here. You can see where that was a sag. I didn't notice any of this stuff until I started sanding. If I just wiped this down and shot it with paint, that would shine through. And that's so super easy. I mean, I'm still wondering about this. I think I'll probably fix it. I can't stand it. So I'm gonna smear a little putty on there and sand that out. But anyway, back to this. So that right there is it's an easy fix. I'm just gonna be able to sand that out. There's probably one like that here, but you can't see it until you start sanding it. Anyway, so this primer is Eastwood primer. It's a 2K primer surfacer stuff. And it's probably 2 years old. It was thick as mud in the can. I mixed it up and added the hardener to proportion and added a little bit of universal urethane reducer, medium, because I got it about 70 degrees in here. I think it went on pretty good. And I knew I can see how far I got around this thing with a quart of that primer. I pretty much got everything. I got a gallon of paint. I'm probably gonna mix up 2 quarts to start with, and I'm gonna see how far I get. I'd like the sandbag. Oh yeah, it's gonna take more, because you know what? I didn't do the wheels with primer because I ran out. But anyway, I'm gonna sandbag a quart of it if I can, just for when everything gets bolted back together, I'll have touch-up paint. We'll see how that goes. Well, anyway, back to sanding, and I guess I'll mix up a little Bondo. Well, I'm going to come in here and do some more work on this old tractor tomorrow. So, I'll put up another video. See you then. Thanks for watching.